Hello and welcome to Broadcast Focus. Thanks for joining me again. My name's Russell Trafford-Jones. Broadcast Focus is a channel fresh on YouTube talking about the media industry, looking at the people and the technology behind the industry. And today I'm very pleased to say Sophie Humphrey is joining me. Hi Sophie, thanks for being with me.
Hello, you're very welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Now you're at Solent University. Tell us a little bit about what you do there.
So yes, I'm a third year Solent University. I do television production, and on that course, it is more creative and more production based. So less technical than the other courses, but more creative, I would say.
So I think what was interesting, and I talked a little bit to Gerard about his journey into the industry, is to understand how people find the industry. Certainly, he didn't come straight into broadcast when he'd finished his education. So that's why I thought it would be great to have you on the show and talk to you and see what it's like. So how did you stumble across the course at Solent, and was there anything that kind of predestined you feel into the media field?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a bit of a change from a performing arts background. I went to a previous uni and studied acting, and I didn't really want to do that anymore. So after that, there was 2 years where COVID was a thing, and I applied for different TV schemes, and none of it was really working because a lot of it closed down, like the Mama Youth project as well. But then after all of that fumbling through all these applications, I did find Solent, and the TV course did look really good. So I applied and I forgot I was going, and then I ended up here, and that's how I ended up here.
That's great. Yeah, it's interesting that. So effectively what you're saying, it sounds to me like you tried in front of the screen and it's not in front of the camera. You're not necessarily, it's not as if you don't like that, but you just think this isn't quite where I feel at home.
Yeah, I did it as growing up, and I think it kind of ran its course, and I didn't really want to I knew I wasn't gonna put myself out there for those student films and stuff where you could audition to be in them, and I just wasn't doing that. So I noticed that and I was thinking, well, if I'm not doing that, then do I really want to do it? And that was the kind of decision that I came around to. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I found much the same when I went to university and was part of student radio. The natural thing is to have a show, and then it became very natural for me not to do a show after that, after trying it, because while the music was playing, I'd be much rather fixing the faders or rearranging the microphones than
that's how you know.
Yeah, exactly. So you tried it in the same way, and and you landed on your feet at Solent. So what type of facilities are there at Solent? Because I also teach there, and I'm surprised at when I first came at how many opportunities there are to actually do TV. It's a little bit different to many courses, I think.
No, that is one of the things that attracted me to Solent was the facilities. They've got a great hatch where you can take out cameras and equipment for filming, and also the studios. They've got quite a few studios that do cater for different things, really. There's one big one which we've just had a virtual production screen put in, which is quite exciting. But yeah, cool. The facilities are amazing, to be honest.
I think, to be able to have a virtual production facility, and certainly fresh, that's really, really good. I mean, it's technology that moves quickly, and the infamous hatch, it's almost like reminds me of a school tuck shop. Everybody talks about it.
It is kind of, it is. Although don't hand it back late, because that's not good.
Much revered place to get all of the kit, so that's really good. And what about the Solent Productions and also Sonar? Tell us about those two organizations.
Okay, so Sonar Events is the student-run TV company. It's a society, and that's kind of Yeah, it's part of the Students' Union, and it's kind of where I started, really. I started to do little filming jobs because we filmed the basketball for Basketball England last year and this year. And I kind of met loads of creative people that kind of wanted to do the same thing. And it was where I learned about the live aspect of telly, because my perception of telly before I got to uni was very much like what you'd see scripted, like documentary kind of thing, the research side. And coming to uni, my eyes were open to the world of live events. And that's what I started through Sonar. But Solent Productions is the university's production company, which do cater for like every student in the uni, just like Sonar does. But they also do the festivals. So you can apply to work at a festival in the summer. We do Boardmasters, Glastonbury, Camp Festival. So those are some of the ones that we've done.
That's really cool. It's interesting. And then there's an OB truck, which I believe is much in demand.
Yeah, no, I've used the OB truck a fair few times now, and I still can't quite believe that we have that on site. Like when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is actually like pretty good. Like not many other unis have that. Can I say that? I don't actually know that, but I think so.
It can't be that many. So tell us what it's about, what it's like to work at the festivals. How does it work, and how do you integrate with the other crews there?
So in my first year, I did Camp Festival, where I was actually on social media. So I actually was doing like the little videos. I kind of got in it last minute. But this year I did Boardmasters Festival in Cornwall, and I was camera operating for the main stage. So we kind of get in on the first day or the second day, depending on how long the journey is to the location, and set up like any other OB company would. The cameras, link it all back to the van, and just kind of do the job that any other OB company would. So it's real world experience, I would say, very similar.
So at Glastonbury, you'd be given a specific stage, and then there'd be another stage done by someone else, and like BBC would be doing the other stages. So it must be a bit weird to be working like side by side in your second year with BBC and other big names.
I mean, I haven't done Glastonbury yet, but
time.
but yeah, you do get connections to the BBC. There's a major link. The documentary crew, which is another crew that they have, they have briefs that they have in the morning, and they go out and they film what the BBC want, the content, and yeah, get that for them. So good feedback all round from that, really.
That's good. And then, so it feels to me like being able to do those jobs as part of perhaps not first of all, but both, part of the Students' Union, and then also for the production company. Does that set you up then to be able to, even at university, go and do freelance work within the industry?
Yes, I would say so, because the skills that you learn are industry, like they are the things that you will do in jobs. So practical experience is so important, and Sonar and Solent Productions definitely have set me up for that as I've continued to get outside jobs as well. Because you can put them on your CV, they do count.
Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
people don't know that, but yeah, they do.
If you can come out of university and have some real world experience, then I mean, no one's complaining about that, are they?
Absolutely.
And so how's that been then? So in terms of working freelance, do people treat you as if you're a student, or do they just treat you like another freelancer turning up for yet another gig?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. I mean, I've been lucky enough to say that I've been treated quite fairly on most of the jobs that I've done. You as a student, you're still learning, so people are kind enough to actually, give you a hand on the job and tell you what to do. But sometimes there are like discrepancies with pay for students, because some companies do take advantage of students, being like, oh, you've got less experience, we're going to pay you less, and you're not going to know about that because you don't know the industry as well and what's fair and what's not. So there are loopholes where working for free, there's a limit, and then you think, hang on a minute, I know what I'm doing now, kind of thing.
working for free is very dangerous, isn't it? So it's a dangerous
It
precedent.
can be, yeah.
And yeah, so it's a fair point. But in terms of the company you've been with, you know, they've treated you well, and the people themselves, do they even know you're a student half the time?
I
Your
think some
colleagues?
of them do. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Because some of the people I've worked with and worked for, I've met at networking events, and I have told them that I'm a student. I do think sometimes that can put employers off. Like, you can say, I'm a student, I'm looking for experience and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And they can kind of look at you a bit like, oh, okay, like you're a student, but like, you know, but most of the time it's been fine for me, you
But
know,
the
being a
enlightened ones
student.
are good.
Yeah, the enlightened ones, the, you know, the well-rounded people.
So, so the festival work sounds like it's been particularly interesting to you. What is it about the festival environment that attracts you, perhaps different to in a studio?
Um, well, I think it was just something completely new, like something completely I've never done before. The live aspect is definitely an interesting one for me, and music in general. I just love. It's
Mhm.
so fun, like shooting music. You can
Yeah.
do all sorts of shots, like fancy one, zooms in, hands across, like it's and the crew as well. When you're working with people that want to do the job, because it's kind of a fun event, really, isn't it? Festivals. Um, you're more likely to have a good time, to be honest. But yeah, it's
I
not
think that's fair.
always the case.
Yeah, yeah. If you were just doing a conference, then there wouldn't be many interesting shots. It would
Oh
just be the same
yeah,
again. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I wouldn't like to be the person who has to do the countdowns to every single bar change and
oh no,
cutting. Um, so yeah, that's cool. So I think, you know, it seems to me that the benefit of the way that the university operates is it kind of eases you in to the real world in terms of, you know,
yeah,
if you're doing more and
yeah,
more work, not only more and more uh, more and more serious times of assignments for the Solent Productions and Sonar, but then if you're able to also have freelance work, then that helps kind of transition you through, and
for
hopefully
sure. Yeah,
you feel like you're leaving and you actually have an income stream even without choosing a specific path and or full-time role.
yeah.
Um, how have you found integrating with the wider industry, like attending events or other, yeah, and talking to people like Simpty and things like
Yeah, well, I started in the beginning of my second year going to Simpty events.
that? Mhm.
I didn't know about them before, um, and I've been to most of them ever since because they have proven to be very valuable. And you do learn a lot. Some of them, I'm not going to lie, they are very technical and do go over my head, but it is always nice to see the same kind of people there, like-minded people that kind of want to help you as well. What I've learned is people are more than willing to help you and like support you. Um, and it can be a very supportive place, this industry, especially going to networking events where all the people are there for the same kind of reason. They like what they do, they want to be there. So Simpty's been a very good one for me over my 2 years, 3 years here at Solent.
That's great, and I think that I agree with that. And it's kind of it's a self-selecting situation. Like if you're interested enough to
Mm.
go out on an evening and listen to something technical or otherwise, then you're more likely to be someone who cares about the industry and
Yeah,
wants to help out if if someone comes along and needs that. And and I think that Simpty's trying harder over the last few years to make sure that the message gets out, and
for
that
sure.
and that you're able to get up in your in a minibus up the motorway into typically London and be part of
Yeah,
that.
if there's rail
Be part of
strikes,
the
then yeah, the
experience,
minibus it will be whipped out.
the journey back at then 10 p.m. Don't know if there's a
Yeah.
rowdy bus or a sleepy bus, but
The
you perhaps,
train's
perhaps
always
shouldn't
a bit
comment.
sleepy one, just falling asleep on the train.
That's good. And we shouldn't let the moment pass to congratulate you on the Student of the Year award
Oh,
at
thank you.
Rise. So I think Rise is obviously a very good organisation, helping in general to to promote a healthy working atmosphere. I think that's the,
Yeah,
if you take the
I would
high
agree.
level view of
Yeah.
it, and it's great that they have they've got this these awards, which are not specifically, I think it's important to recognize young people. And what was your feeling in terms of going to the awards and meeting the people there? I'm sure it's different to a
Um,
non-proximity event.
yeah, no, it was interesting. I was quite nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I've never been to an awards event before where I've actually been up for something. So I was like, "Oh, I don't really know what to do with myself," kind of nerves, but it was very, very nice. Like, people are so kind and, very supportive at the events in general, and spoke to me after. It was a very warm feeling I got from the whole night, so it was great. Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is just bring us back to that very first thing that we talked about, where you said you went to university to look at to do drama. Was it university or college? I can't remember.
It was
And then
uni, yeah.
you decided to come to Solent. Was it? Do you think that the same thing that's brought you in and you seem to enjoy in the media industry, let's call it, is that a similar thing that brought you into drama? Do you think
Mm.
there's something underlying there, and you thought, well, perhaps it's that I want to do, and then you've realised,
Hmm. I've
because
never
I
really
think there's
thought about that, to
there's
be
something
honest.
special, I think, about it, coming back to the live question. And I spent a lot of my childhood obsessing over camera operators and like being amazed at how the marathon worked, and so how does this, how do they do it? And then
Mm.
just if I think back of all the times I thought about how to use a camera and watch them at OBs, which happened to be in the city, it kind of makes me wonder why I didn't realize I wanted to be in in TV.
Do you know what?
Now,
It takes a while. I feel like people have different length journeys of where they find themselves and when they realise what they actually want to do. Um, but to be honest, to answer your question, I don't know where it came from. I've always had a I've always watched a lot of telly growing up. I mean, yeah, I was sat in front of the telly quite a lot, but my parents love me. It's okay. But but I've always had a fascination with watching stuff. I think that's probably why I wanted to do acting. But then I thought, hang on, what's the other side of that? That is behind the scenes kind of thing. So maybe you are right. Maybe that's kind of what subconsciously went in.
Interesting. Well, look, it's been lovely to talk to you, and thank you for spending some time. And
No worries.
congratulations again on your recent award.
Thank
Um,
you.
it's been fascinating, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the future. Thanks a lot.
Amazing. Thank you.